So good morning. We're here at the Washington Schoolhouse in Round Pond, Maine, and I'd like to introduce you to Clell Genthner, who is a student here. Thank you for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
What year did you attend here?
45 to the 8th grade.
To the 8th grade. And in 45, what grade were you in?
First.
First grade. Okay, so there wasn't a kindergarten then. Was there a, no, it just started with the first grade. I have to ask you about your first name, Clell. It's spelled C-L-E-L-L. I haven't heard that name before. What's the origin?
Well, my parents had a friend came with another friend of his. His name was Clell. So I was going to be blonde, I'd say, and my mother loved the name, so she named me Clell.
And have you met other Clells?
I have not met any, but I heard of Butch Hobbs of the Boston Red Sox. His name was Clell, and they call him Butch. And also, I was in Florida, a lady came out and see my name on the plate, and she says, "Excuse me," she says, "is your name Clell?" And I says, "Yes." She says, "I have a friend, his name is Clell, and I've never ever heard that before." And I says, "Well, it's not very common." And Don Sigler and, oh dear, anyway, he had twins, and Clay and Clell, they named him.
And were they born here in Round Pond?
In Damascus.
In Damascus, okay. All right. That's interesting. So how did you get to school in the morning?
We walked from on top of the hill north of here, and we had a little pet of ours, Pal. He walked to school with us, and he'd come here until we went in school, and he would take and sit on the steps until the school bell rang. We all came in, and he'd go home. In the afternoon, he would hear the bell again, and plenty of times we got ready to get out of school, he'd be waiting for us outside.
Did you bring your lunch to school?
Yes.
You did, all right.
Yes.
We had heard from other students that live nearby that sometimes they went home for that hour of lunch.
Some of them, like the Polans, they live just under the hill here.
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, that they'd walk home.
And there's the Lehmans up over on this side of us.
Okay.
Used to be right close.
Did you have recess?
Yes.
Now, what would happen? What was a typical recess? Was it once a day, or?
In the morning, I don't know, just before lunchtime, they'd have a little break.
Yeah, get out and stretch your legs, and yeah. Did you have swings or anything?
Swings and
yeah, that's
would catch or whatever.
Yeah. So how long was your school day?
8 to 2.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep, 8 to 2. And did you have after-school activities, or?
Well, sometimes baseball. There was very little basketball or anything because they didn't have no gyms, but mostly outdoor playing.
Yeah. Now, did you, certainly when you were in first and second and third grade, you didn't have jobs or chores after school, but did you do any after-school work or chores or?
No.
No? Okay. Did you have homework?
Oh, plenty of that.
Yeah, plenty? Like an hour's worth, do you remember? Or was it really all the subjects had school work?
Different schools.
Yeah. Now, there were 2 levels to the school. Were you on both floors at one point?
I was first downstairs. Mm-hmm. Then after the 4th grade, we came up here.
Okay, all right. So 2 different teachers, obviously,
yes.
as well. Okay, all right.
Mrs. Francis was downstairs, and Mrs. Tibbetts was up here.
Was there ever a male teacher while you were here? No, just females?
No.
Yep. How big was your class? Do you remember?
Oh, let's see, 8 or 9.
8 or 9, okay. Have you kept in touch with them, or?
There's a few of them, yeah.
Now, are you still living in Round Pond?
No, I live in Damascotta.
Okay, all right. And there still are people that you keep in touch with?
Oh, I see a lot
Yeah.
of the people,
Yeah.
yes.
Did you ever have a reunion?
Not in the grade school, but
Okay.
high school,
Okay, and where did you go to high school?
Bristol.
In Bristol, okay. Were the boys and girls ever separated for any reason?
No.
No, okay. Was there ever detention, or did anyone act up in class?
Oh, quite often somebody did something wrong.
It probably was.
I've had a few times.
Oh, did you? Oh dear, you want to tell me about one of those? Or and what happened? I mean, do you sit in the corner, or?
I was over there sharpening a pencil one day, and Donnie Lehman was over there. For some reason, I said something to him. He went like that with his pencil and broke the lead off in my arm. And when he went back to seat, to sit back down, and I come by and I don't know, I pinched him, I did something, and I got caught, and I had to go stand in the corner.
In the corner, all right, just for 10 minutes or something?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, but seemed like an hour, I bet, yeah. But I bet there wasn't a lot of acting up in class. I know from interviewing other students from here that very much, they were taught that at home, what the rules were in life, and you came to school knowing those.
Right. But we used to have a study hall in the little room out here.
That little room?
Yeah, there'd be 2 or 3 of us would go in and do some of the homework for the next day, or studying for a quiz.
And was that during your school day that you got to do that? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever stay after school for any reason, or?
Oh, I got detentions a few times.
So you're telling this story about the pencil sharpener over in the window, and I think you had another story.
Oh, yes. But I was there sharpening a pencil, and I heard this explosion. And Mr. Tom Steer used to have a junkyard right here alongside of the school, and he was always stripping the old cars and taking parts off and selling them. And one day he got a little too close to the gas tank and exploded.
Dear.
And he went flying, feet in the air, arms in the air.
And did you see all that from
Yeah.
the window? Wow.
And the ambulance and stuff come, picked him up, took him, but he was okay. I don't know if he broke an arm or
Oh dear.
something.
That was quite a story to tell after that, I'm sure. So it was right here next to the schoolhouse. You could
Yes.
actually see everything. And what was his name again?
Tom Steer.
Tom Steer. What was the name of the junkyard? Was there a name for the junkyard, or?
Steer's junkyard.
Steer, yeah, no, that would make sense.
That, I think, was Matthias's uncle.
Oh, okay. Well, that would make sense, sure. Were your teachers friendly or strict?
Pardon?
Were your teachers, did you think they were friendly, or were they very strict?
No, they wasn't that strict. No, they were friendly, and I mean, they had to take and control less children.
That's true. And did you have a favorite teacher, and why?
I like Mrs. Francis downstairs, and I got along great with Mrs. Tibbetts too.
Yeah. So we already talked about, what were your favorite subjects?
Well, at that time there was English and math, spelling, history,
Okay.
and
Did you have a favorite?
I kind of liked the history.
Did you? Okay. And what did you do for your career after you left school? And
Commercial fisherman.
you were a commercial fisherman, okay. So you had lots of stories you could include great history in while you were telling them. So there were summer people that would come to Round Pond. Did they impact your family at all, or did you have any? Were you aware as a child that there were summer people?
Oh no, I knew there were summer people. There were a lot of good friends that we met during the summer.
And oh, great! Did you keep in touch with
Yes.
them? Oh, that's wonderful. Do you still keep in touch with any of them?
I haven't for a few years,
Yeah.
but the Pratt Young that he was a undertaker, and his family we used to go down there swimming right there off of the around Pond Harbor.
Oh, and that's where the undertaker lived on the harbor?
Well,
or?
he's from Connecticut, Bristol, Connecticut.
Okay, all right. So he didn't practice undertaking up here?
No.
Okay, all right. So how did you spend your summers typically?
Well, in the summers, I used to go and dig clams and sell those, and I'd go out in the harbor and catch flounder, and Mrs. Francis would buy the flounders from us. She loved flounder and mackerel, and I'd go buy an ice cream
Where was the ice cream shop?
down here at the Granite Hall.
Still there? Yep, good ice cream down there too. Now, was there such a thing as family vacations? Did you ever go away as a family in the summer?
We didn't do that much, no. We're close family though, because I have an aunt that lived in New Harbor. I used to go down and spend a weekend sometimes down there and fish off the docks and
That's
go
neat.
up to my uncle's in Demascota and visit.
And are there still Genthners here in Round Pond?
Not enough family though.
No, okay, just not family, okay. So did you stay in this area the whole time? Did you? You've stayed here?
Say 64, I moved from here to New Harbor. I was with my family.
Okay, big move.
And yeah, and from there I moved to Demascota.
Okay, another big move. But you've stayed. Do you have children?
Yes,
And did they go to school?
they went to Lincoln.
Lincoln Academy, that's a great
They
school.
went to Demascota schools.
Yeah, okay. So your father was a commercial fisherman.
Yes.
What did he fish for? Lobster?
Lobster.
Okay. Did you ever go out with him? Were you ever?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, did your grandparents live here? Your parents and your grandparents lived here?
Waldoboro.
In Waldoboro. Okay, so that's where your family. Now, were you impacted by World War II at all? Do you recall
Well,
any? No.
my dad was in the service.
Yeah.
Oh, it's,
But certainly no uncles or?
no.
Okay, all right. So, any other great stories you could tell us about maybe other students here, or maybe a summer story about Round Pond?
Oh, we used to, my brothers, two brothers, Frank and Gordon, we used to, in the summer, Bobby Foster would go on camping trips. We'd go along the shore, we'd dig clams, and so over on Lewis's Point one night, we started raining, so we had to pitch a tent quick. We had some pine barrows and laid them down and everything. Little did we know, under the fir browse that we put down, there was a big ant's nest. During the rainstorm, we got moving around on the
Oh,
ant's
no.
nest. We were found out that we was in the wrong place.
Oh, boy, that sounds awful. Now, is this Bob Foster, the auctioneer?
No, it
This was
was,
his son?
no,
Oh,
it's
okay.
another Foster that lived down by the Pedebco shop is,
Okay, right down on the waterfront?
right on the
Yeah,
waterfront, the
okay.
first house before you get to the Pedebco.
Oh, okay, all right. Because I know there were
His
other
father-
Fosters.
His grandfather owned the blacksmith shop.
And where was that?
That was down in the harbor here, just before you get down on the left-hand side, the red building. That was a blacksmith shop.
Oh, was it really? It looks like they're redoing that building.
Yeah.
It looked like there was some new windows in there, and maybe, hopefully,
They
they're,
may be gonna be,
hopefully not a
or a
condo or
apartment,
something,
yeah, or
yeah.
that usually happens.
So did you eat lobster a lot?
Oh, I love lobster. Still do.
Still do? Oh. So, but you did eat it, your father would
Yeah.
bring that home quite often?
Clams and lobsters,
Yeah,
herring.
sounds wonderful.
I was a commercial fisherman for
Okay.
sardines and herring.
Were you really? Okay.
Stinson Seafood for,
Oh, were you really?
yeah.
Yeah, so as growing up, I had a lot of sardines. You were eating lobsters, and I was eating those darn
plenty of
sardines.
sardines too.
Yep, me
And I
too.
used to get cases and have them aboard the boat, wherever port I went in. People would ask for sardines, I'd give them.
I bet you did.
I miss them today, and here I am paying $1.09 for a can with 4, sometimes 3 in a can.
And they're not even Maine lobsters anymore.
Sardines.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, sardines. Well, packing, sardine packing certainly was how many women.
My mother used to work there
Yeah.
in North Lubeck in
Yeah.
Rockland.
Well, I thank you for coming today. It's a wonderful schoolhouse, and I'm sure you have great memories.
Well, I do.
Yeah. Well, thank you.